Hi everyone, it's Judy. Welcome back to Rose Lane. Okay, so it's Sit a Spell Sunday again. So we're going to sit a spell and we're going to have a chat. And while I am talking, chatting with you, and I have my tea, though I have had some to drink already, I'm going to be trying to, if I can focus well enough, because I don't think I've ever done on camera binding one of my journals. I always do it off camera. But I thought today I would try doing it on camera. I just want to decide here, here it is, what color I want to use. Oh, and by the way, when I have trouble gripping the needles to pull through when they're tight like this, when they're hard covers like that, this helps me. So I keep that there. Do I want, this matches my thread. So yeah, I think I'll use this one this time. So anyway, so today my quote, and I didn't write it down, so let me try to say it. Hopefully I won't forget it. Trying to see which one would be the better. Same. Today my quote is, sometimes, and I just saw this on Facebook. I don't know who said it. I don't know where it came from, so I can't credit anybody. I just happened to see it on Facebook. And I thought, you know, I like that. I do. And I know they say do 3, and I always do about 3.5, because with me, it helps me. And that way, if I want to keep them long, I can. And if I don't, I can cut them, and I drop something else on the floor. So all this noise tells you that I should be cleaning my desk. We'll get to that eventually. But anyhow, so the quote was this: sometimes what's in my heart comes out through my hands. And I thought, what a lovely quote that was. And it got me to thinking about a lot of things. Of course, the first thing I thought of, because I'm getting a quote here for this, for doing the journals, or while I'm doing the journals anyway. And I thought, all right, well, obviously the first thing that comes to my mind is, that comes out, you know, what's in my heart comes out through my hands, is my journaling style. My, you know, the style that kind of, no matter what I try to do, you know, I don't need this anymore. It's just going to get in my way. No matter what I might try to do, it still comes out like this, you know, it still comes out looking very vintagey. Okay, well, vintage is what's in my heart. I like old things, always have. Where am I? All right, there I am. And, you know, I just like the way they are. I like old things. So I thought, all right, so what's in my heart, my love of antiques, my love of what's old, my, you know, oh, no, I thought a clip came off, but it didn't. Okay, that's fine. You know, this isn't pretty, by the way, the way I do these things. So I hope you don't mind. I'm clipped on something. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Wondering why it won't come through, because it's clipped on the corner of my journal cover. You know what? Let me clip this. I'm going to clip this separate. Hang on one second, because this is flipping and flopping all over the place and getting in my way. So, okay, I'll try to do that. So anyway, I've got a hair in my face, didn't want to come out. All right, where am I going? I'm going here. So anyhow, that, you know, I got to thinking about that. I just poked myself in the finger with this. So that was my first thought. See what I just did? I clipped this and went right around it. Oh, good gravy. Okay. I've got to get this out through the loop now, because I put the loop right around it. Okay. I'll put it to the other side. Though probably as I work, I'll have to move it back because I'm going that way. Lost my needle. So anyhow, I thought, well, okay, so what's in my heart? I love old things. You know, just about anything. And I love history. I love genealogy. I love old clothes. I love old. I just love old stuff. Well, I'm becoming one of them. But anyway, so I thought about that and I thought, okay, so what can I possibly say about that? And then I started thinking, well, you know, there's a lot more that is in my heart. It doesn't have to just do with the journals themselves, but there's a lot more that's in my heart that will come out through my hands. And I thought, well, I still do like to cook, and I will admit that cooking is difficult for me now, only for, I'm trying to make sure I don't split my thread here, only for the fact that standing on my legs for a long time can be very painful for me. So, but still in all, I still collect recipes. You know, I may not make them, but I still collect them. Again, I'm trying not to split my thread here because then you can't pull it tight. So, and I'm in this ribbon here, so let me back out. So I like to cook, and I like to cook because, I don't know, maybe it's the Italian in me, I don't know, but, you know, I believe that, get rid of this before I poke myself again. I believe that feeding people is a way of showing love, okay? It's a way of showing them that you love them. I'm just checking all sides. Okay, that can be pulled a little tighter, and I want to pull them in opposite directions because that tends to make them tight enough. All right, my hands are slipping on it. Make sure that's tight back there. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so let's tie this one off, and then I'm just going to leave the strings because I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So anyhow, so cooking or feeding people is what's in my heart, and that comes out through my hands to cook for somebody, for someone or many someones. And then I got to thinking about other things, and I'm going to get into some other stuff too, but that isn't where I'm going right at the moment. But I thought another thing that's in my heart, what's in my heart, is love for these people, for my family and my friends, and for even strangers when it comes right down to it. And it got me thinking about something that's one of my little soapbox issues. It's because you wouldn't think I was opinionated at all, would you? I don't know now. Did I just do that too long or too short? I want to make sure I'm cutting it in the right place. 2, whoops, 3, and a little bit more. So, all right. Now I went backwards, so it doesn't help me. 1, 2, 3, and my little bit. 3 and my little bit, because it gives me long strings if I want to do something. I always do them. They're never even. Never. So I always have extra room there. So anyway, my soapbox is the social distancing. Now, I know it was necessary, you know, even when we do it to a certain degree without a pandemic. If somebody's got a cold or, you know, something, you know, you say, oh, don't get too close to me, I have a cold, you know, that kind of a thing. And we had to do it on a global scale to the extreme because of COVID. The problem is when we did that, it seems to me now, I'm having trouble trying to thread this because, you know, I miss. It seems to me now we've created a societal norm out of it, which is disturbing to me. I don't like to see barriers going up. Sorry, I just hit that because I was grabbing for this thing. I don't like to see barriers going up between people. We have enough barriers, you know, unseen barriers, but we have enough things that keep us distant and apart from each other. But then when we have a physical thing like a screen, a plexiglass screen between us and someone else before we'll even talk to them, a mask, you know, on our faces, I just find it disconcerting, to say the least. And it has become our norm. Working from home, which I know has become very beneficial financially for businesses. I am right side up, right? Yes. I know that it's become, oh, I didn't mark these. I have to mark these. Financially beneficial for businesses. They didn't realize just how beneficial it would be, but they could give up big real estate. They could give up, you know, oops, I need a pencil. All kinds of things. And it was easier to keep the people at home to do their work. And the people were happier to stay at home and do their work. They could kind of set their own schedules for the most part, depending on businesses and things. And it would allow them to be nearer their children, you know, and keep daycare to a minimum, and et cetera, and all of this kind of stuff. And I can appreciate all of that. But it also keeps us away from people in general. Knock down my needle. And you know what? I do need that foam thing, don't I? I do. So what do I do with my hands that show people I love them? I can hold their hand. I can put my hand on their shoulder. I can hug them, period. I just want to make these just a smidge bigger. You know, I can do a lot just by touch, to show somebody that I care, and, you know, that I see them and I want to be part of their lives. You know what, while I have this out, let me go ahead and do this one too. And I'm going to have to grab out some other clips, but that's okay. I've got plenty. So I create, I would hope, like I've said before, beautiful things by, I do, you know, I've done flower arranging. I have done calligraphy, and I've talked about how calligraphy was a dying art, especially these days when they're not teaching the cursive writing in school anymore. And I kind of have my little soapbox about that too. And because all of the old things seem to be passing away. And I know that that happens. But sadly, I think sometimes what we call progress is not really progress. I think it's regression. And I find it disturbing that things that are good and worthwhile go away. There are times when things that come into play, new things that come into play, are good. But I don't think we should throw away all of what was good in the past because we think we can create something new and good in the future. I just think that we need to stop and think about that. We throw away our traditions. We throw away our memories. We throw away our way of living that was good. And if it's good, you know, what is that saying? They say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's good, why would we want to lose it? You know, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I don't need this now. I finished all my holes. Don't need that now. Needle. Here it is. Okay. So I have that, you know, that issue with things like that. I'm stuck again. With just letting go of things that are good. These are things that are in my heart. These are things that are my passion. These are things that mean something to me. While I watch society dying to me in a way, I don't understand why we can't take what was good and keep it and if we have to come up with other new good things, there's certainly a lot of things that were bad that we can certainly get rid of in society. Absolutely. Get rid of hatred. Get rid of prejudice. Get rid of isolation. Get rid of violence. Get rid of all of these things. I know that's not possible, as much of an idealist as I am, because people are still going to be people. It's never been a utopian society. It's never been everything good, as much as we might all wish it to be. It just is never going to be that. Not here, anyway, this side of heaven. But we should all, I think, strive to see what has been good in the past. Hold on to that and don't let it go. So that we can just continue to do good things. I've split my thread again. So we can continue to do good things. Oh, no, I didn't. Good. And keep working on getting rid of what was bad and doing more of what was good. So that's where my heart is in general. I'm trying, I can't quite see. I gotta bend way down here. I can't quite see where my hole is. There we go, I think. I'll pull this out a little bit so I can work with it a little easier. And then I will pull it tighter, and there it is. And let's get you on the other side of that. There we go. Push that through. So I think I need to be able to express myself better. I need to be able to touch people. I need to be able to hold their hand, to touch their shoulder, to give them a hug. It's so important. And I just want to make sure there's no loops on either side here. No, and we are tight. Not really. Back there. I'm going to pull this a little bit tighter. So, okay, that should do. Yep. Yep, that's good. Okay. So all of this got me thinking, because, you know, I can't just leave things at one level. I've got to go, you know, even deeper into stuff sometimes. And it got me into thinking about something. Now, there's always been a lot of talk about reincarnation, and I don't know that I necessarily believe in reincarnation. But I read a book. It's a fiction book. It was historical fiction, but of course, you know, any kind of historical fiction is generally got some fact in it. And there was something that they talked about in the book called genetic memory. So I looked it up because, you know, I'm boring like that. I like to do research because I find that fun and interesting. And most people like, you know, skiing or golf or football or something. No, I like research. But anyway, that being said, I need a new thread. I looked it up, and it has a big, long, scientific, technical name, that I can't remember, but their what do you call it? Generic term for it is genetic memory. Scissors. Had them. Here they are. So genetic memory is essentially, in very layman's terms, and I don't, you know, propose to be an expert on this at all whatsoever, strictly from a interest because of what I found in the books. What I understand it to be is that if in our DNA we can have, wonder where my holes went. If in our DNA we can have the same color eyes or same color hair or same shaped hands or habits or voice or talents that someone from our past bloodline has. We inherit those things through our DNA. Okay, what's my issue here? Okay, I think I got it. We inherit those things through our DNA. So I started to think, well, how much of what is in my heart, okay, come through here, how much of what is in my heart is possibly genetic DNA? I believe in this. These are habits or thoughts or feelings or concerns that we pick up through, just want more out here, through the DNA of our ancestors, okay? So they've done scientific experiments where, and believe me, I am not a proponent of animals in the lab, but they had done scientific experiments with mice where they fed them stuff that would make them not feel well, okay? It didn't kill them or anything. It just, you know, didn't make them feel well. And they would learn, these mice would learn to avoid whatever that food was because it didn't make them feel good. So then they would allow the mice to become pregnant, and they would have a litter of mice-ettes, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. And those mice, when they were put near the food that their parents were exposed to and did, you know, developed a distaste for, let's say, those mice, when they were exposed to the same thing, exhibited the same behavior. Now, they had no way of knowing. They hadn't eaten it to make them feel sick. They just didn't want it. It was genetically in their DNA. Okay. Oh, I got to go through this one more time, right? Yeah. It was genetically in their DNA. So what they're saying is when we experience what we would call deja vu, or what some people might say, you know, a past life experience or something like that. Did I think I went through my thread? Hang on one minute. I did. All right, I got to try to pull it apart. I got to figure out where I went through it and then pull it out. Because it's waxed, it's good for making it stay, but I split my threads is what I did with the needle, and I put the one thread through the other one, and you don't want to do that. So, okay, let's start pulling on that and see if we've got all of that, all the excess gathered up. And that's all pretty tight. That's good. Yay! So things that you experience, things that an ancestor would experience in their lives, that they have experienced prior to procreating, those things can come down through your DNA, okay? So if you have, well, I'll give you an example. In the book, and these are books by a woman called Susanna Kearsley, and the first book in this series is called The Winter Sea. And in that book, it's like a time travel thing, sort of like, you know, the Outlander kind of stuff. But in her book, she talks about how this girl does not, one of the things she says is she never liked the smell of lilacs, which I remembered because lilacs are my favorite flower. And she says, this girl says she never liked the smell of lilacs, okay? She got me to thinking I didn't like the smell of lilies. I love lilies, they're beautiful, but I don't like the smell. They make me feel ill. And so she never liked the smell of lilacs, but in the story of her ancestor, she finds that when her ancestor has to say goodbye to her husband, they are saying goodbye by a lilac bush, and the ancestor associates the smell of lilacs with her love leaving her, and maybe he's going off to war and maybe he won't come back. So it was a sad smell to her. So poignant that it embedded itself in her DNA, and now the present day character in the book, the woman, doesn't like the smell of lilacs, and she never understood why she couldn't understand why she wouldn't like it. Well, what they're saying is it was in her DNA from a sad moment in her predecessor's life. Not her predecessor, but her grandmother. Okay, so let me look at this. Okay, we still have time. I'll do a little, I don't know, decorating of some kind. I've got multiple things on my desk. Let me clean up, and then I will continue while I'm cleaning. So I thought, how much then of me, how much of what is in my heart, there it is possibly something that came down through my genes. And all right, I think I've got everything. Nope, I need the all, and I need this. Okay, what makes me love the old things so much? Old houses, old clothes, old ways. Is that in my genes from a past ancestor? And since I love genealogy so much, I find it very intriguing. It's a very intriguing topic for me, a very intriguing thought as to why I might like these kinds of things. So this is some stuff I have in a bag. Let's see what we can do with some of this. Oh, and I know what else too. I want to put some laces on. So let's see what we have. So anyway, I was thinking about stuff like that. You know, what could possibly be, I already have one of those. Let me do this guy. What could possibly be in me that, is it a conglomeration of more than one ancestor? I like things that are not generally something a girl would like, okay? I'm very girly, as you can tell. But I think sometimes when I was a very little girl, there was I didn't have my glue covered here. When I was a very little girl, there was a Walt Disney show on. I was probably about 4 at the time. And it was called The Scarecrow of Romney Marsh. And I so remembered the beginning of that show. I'm just going to have a drink of my now very cold tea. I remember the opening of the show with this horse running along a beach. It was kind of dark. I want to do a belly band here, so we don't want to do this. It was kind of dark, and it's taking place in my, you know, looking back on it, knowing history that I know now, probably somewhere around the 1700s, okay? And he's got this big cape on, he's got a tricorn hat on, and he's galloping along the beach, okay? And I was mesmerized by that. I was 4 years old, a 4-year-old little girl who's supposed to be playing with teacups and baby dolls, but I was entranced by this. I don't know that I want to put that there. It's a little big for that. I'm trying to decide where I think I want to put these things. I was just entranced by that. And I grew up just loving that part of history. Now, I know that the story takes place in England, and it's about smugglers and things like that. And I kind of maybe, oh, this is good. This is good. Yeah. I kind of maybe understood a little bit about what was going on, but I'm kind of thinking not so much. I was just too young to know. And, all right, I think this way. And then this way. I want to make sure. Oh, you know, I always forget about that. All right, this is my dilemma. I always forget that I have to cut down my paper, my printed papers, because I can't print borderless. So this is going to have to go on a wider sheet of paper, which is actually not going to help me either. This is going to have to go right into the edge of the book. Right into the edge. Though, I might be able to trim it a little bit. I'm not sure now what I want to do with this. I don't think I want to put it on here. No. All right, I'm going to have to think about that. I did a lot of sewing on these already, and I'm afraid that they're not going to fit too well because of the my having to cut down the papers. I cut down any of the plain paper I cut to fit. So, no. I'm just trying to see if I think I like it on something like that. Now I'm trying to find what I did with that striped paper, which I think is going to be back this way a little bit more. Here we go. That looks good. Which one do I like better? I think I like this one better, actually. So we'll put that one on here. I can do that. Okay. So anyway, I love the history from the Revolutionary War time and colonial times, in that the pre-war. And another thing that I love is sailing ships. I can't even swim, guys. I can't even swim. Petrified of swimming. I have a kind of a vertigo type of thing, where if I don't have a solid, unmovable focal point, I get dizzy. Okay. So, and yet I love sailing ships. I love the smell of the ocean. I even love the smell of the ocean at low tide. Not too many people can say that. I loved pirates. And these are just not normal girl things, if you are catching my drift. They're just not normal girl things that a girl would usually like. She likes baby dolls and Barbies and makeup and jewelry and dress up and tea parties. And it's not that I didn't like baby dolls and things. I did. I didn't have any Barbies growing up, but, you know, I had some baby dolls, and I had little, what looked like old Corelle, that blue cornflower thing. I had those. I haven't put together some of these. I have put some together. I don't know where I put them, though, because I've got my mix of bees and sewing on this desk. So, but anyway, so I have all of these. So I just want to make sure that there's going to be enough room. Yeah, okay. And we'll put something in there. Let's put some lace on this. So I love pirates. I love sailing ships. I love the colonial period, or the revolutionary time, when people were wearing tricorn hats and all of that kind of stuff in the 1700s. I love all of that. And it's just not, especially for a 4-year-old girl, to be so taken by it, you know? I'm going to try to just cut this off the roll, and then I think I can work with it a little better. But I was, and I still am. And that's the thing. It hasn't changed. So I wonder now, the things that are in my heart, when I smell the ocean, if you can remember what it was like to see the person that you fell in love with, anytime when you first saw them, your heart would just kind of pound, and your stomach would tie in knots, and you get those butterflies and things like that. That, when I smell the sea, is how I feel. And that can't come from just nowhere, I don't think. So these are things that are in my heart. These are things that make me who I am. And I had no cause in my life to have experienced it so that I should fall in love with it, okay? You don't know that you like, I don't know, steak until you try it, and I went through that story with my son and his Butterfinger candy bar. But you don't know those things until you try it, until, you don't know that, maybe you really do like skiing after all. Somebody kind of yanks you out there and makes you go, and you're a little on the reluctant side. But when you get out there, suddenly something changes. I had no experience. I was a 4-year-old girl, and yet I saw this on TV, and I can tell you, because I remember, I have the memory. I can see through my 4-year-old eyes in my memory and remember how I felt about seeing these things, like I connected with them somehow. So could it truly be something about, could it truly be something about that? Nope, don't like that either. I think I want to start doing some plainer things. Well, it's not bad. This is a little ripply, this stuff. Not sure how it got ripply. Put this down here. Could it be something about that was truly genetic? Something about that I'm trying to see if I want. I hate to cover up so much of this paper. All right. Could it be something in my blood, in my genetics, that causes me to be this person that I am? If that is true, then it is so very true that who you are is who has been, if that makes sense. Who you are is who has been. Those who have come before you and their life experience, then how much more into your own children, your own life experience, the losses that you felt to the core of your very being. This one's a little bigger. I think I want the smaller one. The things that have brought you joy. The experiences, sorry about that. The experiences that you have felt in your life, and how that has become part, literally part of your DNA, truly ingrained in you. How much more then would you want your children to have as many good memories, as many good things? You can influence your children, and your genetics and who you are really can pass on. If you keep these journals, and thinking I don't want to put any notches in this. If you keep these journals and people can read about you, but how about it if somebody down the line picks up these journals? For most of you out there are probably women. So another young girl, great granddaughter perhaps, finds these journals and she reads them and she says, oh my gosh, I'm just like her. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly the same kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, I can sew and crochet. That's where I get it from. I get it from my great-great-grandmother, whoever you are. How amazing that is, that you can make that connection with your descendants 100 years down the road. And you know it. You know you're going to be able to do that. How incredible could that be? How incredible. I find it fascinating. I'm intrigued beyond belief. It's a little, I like that one though. Let me just cut that one off, that little piece. Make it fit. I do like it. How incredible that would be to know that you could be passing on a part of your soul, not just the color of your hair or your eyes, but a part of your heart, a part of who you are, something that's in you that comes out into this world. And 100 years down the road, it may do the same through one of your descendants. How amazing that is. So what is it that's in your heart? You know, what is it that you do? Do you do crafts and give them away? Do you hug people? Some people are just known for their hugs. I know a few people like that. Do you cook for people? Do you know, what is it that you do that you can't help but do because it's just part of your soul, part of who you are, and it comes out through your hands. It comes out through your hands, one way or the other. I don't know how long before I stop thinking about that. I think it's got a long run with me, because it's going to make me be very introspective and take a real good deep look at myself as to what manifests in my life through my hands that's coming out of my heart, and why is that, and where did it come from, and you know, why am I compelled to do those things and not something else? I think it's fascinating. So I don't know about you guys. Maybe I gave you something to think about. Maybe I didn't. Maybe you've never heard of any of this. Maybe you think I'm a little wacky. It could be. I think I am, actually. I'm trying to see if I want something smaller. I don't know. But think about that. What is in your heart? Sometimes, like the quote says, sometimes what's in my heart comes out through my hands. And what is that for you today? So we bound the book, we put in a pocket, we played with a couple of other things. So all the pages are in, and we're ready to do some decorating, pretty much. Put the pockets, tags, laces, whatever we're going to do. Obviously, I wanted a belly band there. And we're just going to go from there. At probably in one of our next videos. So that's it for today, guys. In the meantime, be safe, be happy, and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.